Previously on The Stand. 2 months ago, something happened at Project Blue in California. Within weeks, a flu-like virus, Captain Trips, swept through the world, killing off 99% of the population. Now, it's up to the survivors to piece together a new life in a world that has moved on. The survivors have split into two factions, dark and light. There are those who have heeded the call of Randall Flagg, also known as the Dark Man or the Walking Dude, and followed him to Las Vegas. There, he rules with absolute authority, and those who disobey his laws are executed by crucifixion. Among his disciples are Lloyd Henriette, a former thief who nearly died of starvation when he was imprisoned during the final throes of Captain Trips, and was saved by Flagg. Another is Trash Can Man, or Trashy, a pyromaniac from Illinois who followed Flagg's call across the country, through the desert, and nearly died in the process. Those who have followed the light flock to the summons of Mother Abigail, who has led her people to Boulder, Colorado. There, a new democracy has been established, and at its head are 7 members of the Freezone committee: Stu Redman and his lover, the pregnant Frances Goldsmith, as well as Glenn Bateman, Larry Underwood, Sue Stern, the deaf-mute Nick Andros, and Ralph Bretner. The 7 of them have re-ratified the Constitution and have begun the process of rebuilding their society. But they have another task: to counter the oncoming attacks from Las Vegas. Little is known about what the Dark Man is planning, just that he is planning something. The committee decides to send 3 spies west to investigate: the 70-year-old Judge Ferris, the scrappy Dana Jurgens, and the special needs Tom Collin. But the biggest blow comes to the committee just after they have their first public zone meeting. Mother Abigail disappears in the middle of the night, leaving only a note: "I will be there with you again soon, if it is God's will." Leaderless and afraid, it is difficult to see how the citizens of the Boulder Freezone will survive. What's bothering you, Franny? Tell me. No, it's nothing, just... The world's really over, isn't it? 600 people singing the Star-Spangled Banner. That's what's left. Finally hit me tonight, I guess. In my diary, I had a section called Things to Remember, so the baby would know all the things he never will. I should have called them Things That Are Gone. It got everybody the same way, singing that song. Lots of people will be crying themselves to sleep tonight. Believe it. I don't see how you can grieve for a whole country, but I guess you can. What do you remember best? What's the one thing? It's crazy. I've never told anyone, but truth is, I've been thinking about this very memory the last couple of weeks. About 10 years ago, I was pumping gas at Bill Hathcone's working the graveyard shift. One night, this big old Pontiac pulls in. Windows down, Hank Williams blasting from the tape player. "Can I help you?" High test. "Yes, sir," I said, but I just stood there and stared at him, Franny, because he looked incredibly, eerily familiar. "Don't I know you? Ain't you from up around Corbett or maybe Maxim?" "No, but I passed through Corbett once when I was a kid." It seemed like I've passed through just about every place in America. I filled up his car then, and all the time I was thinking about him and his face. And all at once, I knew. And I damn near pissed myself because the man behind the wheel of that Pontiac was supposed to be dead. "Keep the change." Thanks. I think I placed you, friend. Only thing is, you're supposed to be dead. He laughed with this weird, chilly laugh. "Don't believe everything you read, man." Say, you like Hank Williams? He's one of the best, in my opinion. I love Roadhouse music. Well, you take care. Maybe I'll see you again. But Fran, I wished right then and there I would never see him again. He had the eyes of a man who's been looking into the dark for a long time. I think if I ever see that man flag, his eyes might look a little like that. Stuart, who are you talking about? Remember the Doors? Crazy as it sounds, even though he was supposed to have died in France, that man was Jim Morrison. I'm sure of it. Good gosh, Stu, and you never told anyone till now? The years rolled by, as they say in books, but no. He was alive, though. Hell, he might even be alive now. Wouldn't that be a laugh? If he is, he's not coming to Boulder. No, I expect he's with our friend out west. I saw his eyes, you see. They both shivered then, and Fran consciously changed the subject. Hey, do you see anything funny about my feet, Stu? Well, not particularly. What do your feet got to do with anything, honey? After the meeting, we were all sitting on the grass and talking things over, thanking Harold for nominating us. I noticed he kept looking at my feet. Huh. Now you tell me, smart guy, why would Harold Lauder be interested in my feet? Can I talk to you? It has to be now. Now or never. For Nadine, Lucy Swan didn't exist. Her eyes were fixed only on Larry. The strangest, most beautiful eyes he'd ever seen. Did you bring your dog collar and muzzle for him, Nadine? I'll be right in. Lucy, 10 minutes. Go on. 10 minutes, 10 years. She comes to get you, I'm dismissed. Door slammed later, and it was just the two of them. Larry couldn't help but think, she makes Lucy look like a used car on a scalper's lot. Let's walk down to the corner and back. Would you do that much for me, at least? I'd better stay in sight. You picked a hell of a time. She dropped to her knees suddenly, plaintively. Please, Larry, just to the corner. Nadine, what are you doing? Get up. Get the hell up. He pulled her to her feet, roughly, and they walked west, towards the mountains. 2 or 3 nights before, Larry had dreamed there were hideous trolls in those mountains, guarding the passes, waiting for the time of the dark man. A soft breeze meandered down the street with them. I want you now, and I'm afraid I'm too late. I want to stay here, and if we're with each other, I'll be able to. You're my last chance, Larry. Nadine, what are you? Listen to me. As long as I had Joe, I could be as strong as I needed to be. But Joe is gone. There's a boy named Leo Rockway sleeping in Joe's bed, and Leo doesn't need me. He does need you. Of course he does. Of course he needs me. That's what scares me. That's why I've come to you. Nadine wasn't talking about Joe anymore. Larry was certain, but he had no idea who she was talking about. He did have a terrible sense, though, that if he let it go with Lucy and went with Nadine, he might as well slink out of Boulder tonight, and it would be the old Larry triumphant. I have to go home. I'm sorry, Nadine, but you have to work it out on your own. Make love to me, Larry. I can feel you want to, and that will be the end of it. I'll be safe. Larry had no idea how he found the willpower, but he did. Whatever you want from me, you could have had it. You could have had it last week, or the week before, when I wanted you to have it. That was too soon. And now it's too late, Nadine. Larry hated the brutal sound of his voice, but how was he supposed to sound? She was turning away from him. All right. Goodbye, Larry. And in that moment, she was more than Nadine. She was the oral hygienist back in Brooklyn. You ain't no nice guy. She was Rita Blakemore. Don't leave me, Larry. I'll be good. Worst of all, she was his mother. There's something missing in you. Then Nadine was gone, melted into the darkness, and the wind picked up, and Larry swore he could hear the sound of boot heels. Dirty boot heels, clicking their way to the grave of the West. After leaving Larry's, Nadine stopped by her house to pick up a few items. Then she was racing on her Vespa, the night wind stinging her face. "What's happening to me?" she whispered into the dark. Larry had scorned her, she thought. Didn't they say that hell hath no fury? A scorned woman might well traffic with the devil, or his henchmen. And meanwhile, the Vespa chugged up dark Flagstaff Mountain going west. When all the choices have been taken away, what do? You choose what's left. You choose whatever dark adventure was meant for you. An hour later, Nadine had reached Sunrise Amphitheater. You let Larry have his stupid little twist of tale with his single-syllable vocabulary and her movie magazine mind. You go beyond them. You let them have their meetings. They were concerned with getting the power back on. Her lover-to-be was concerned with the world. She sat at a picnic table with the three-cornered planchet she'd found at a novelty shop in town and a blank sketch pad. You risk whatever there is to be risked. Mostly, you risk yourself. Hands on the planchet, Nadine felt she was at a border crossing, a no-man's land between two spheres of influence. Flag in the west, the old woman in the east. The magic was flowing both ways, making a concoction that belonged neither to God nor Satan, but was wholly pagan. She remembered the last time she played at automatic riding in college with her dorm mates. There had been so much giggling that night, and their fearless leader, Rachel, commanded, "Spirits, do you have a message for our sister and brownie in good standing Nadine Cross?" More giggles, then nothing for a few moments. Nadine was about to move the damn thing herself when the planchet suddenly jerked under their fingers. "Did you do that, Janie?" "No." "Marla?" "Nadine?" "No." And it felt. Under their fingers, the planchet started to thrum madly. "All right, the joke is over. Stop it, you guys. Stop it, or you'll be sorry."
Nadine, 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 how I love Nadine to be my love, my Nadine to be my queen. You are pure for me. You are clean for me. You are dead for me.
"I can't take my fingers off it. It feels so..." The planchet began to write, smooth, powerful, and fast. It stopped writing, but kept thrumming. Nadine hoped, oh how she hoped, that it was over. You are dead with the rest of them. You are in the dead book with the rest of the rotten. The rest of them. Unless. But then it began again, racing across the page. The letters screamed at Nadine. The world is dead, and we are in the house of the dead, Nadine. The planchet snapped in two, and there was an instant of shocked, immobile silence. Later, when Janie and Marla had retreated to their room in weeping hysterics, "Who was it, Nadine?" "I don't know, Rachel." "You don't recognize the handwriting?" "No." From that night, 12 years ago, until now, she never touched another planchet, but, well, the time had slouched around again, hadn't it? And who would be driving tonight? Where would the driver take her? Sitting on the border, she felt him pressing heavy on her, dragging her down like weights tied to the feet of a dead woman. Flag's dark presence. "Tell me." Beneath Nadine's fingers, the planchet began to move. Permanent Freezone Committee Meeting. The newly elected members met to discuss old business and new, sending their scouts out to the west, which would have to happen soon. They would send 3 spies separately and without knowledge of each other's existence, in case Flag discovered their purpose and tried to torture any one of them for information. Starting a census committee to keep track of Boulder's ever-swelling population, to document the people arriving and the people leaving, possibly defecting to the west. Beefing up the burial committee so that all the corpses would be cleared out of Boulder by the time wet season arrived. and the bombshell Nick brought to the table, read aloud by Ralph, to see if the Freezone will create a Department of Law and Order with Stu Redman at its head. Fran, about this Marshall thing? I don't want to talk about it, Stu. You were elected 6 votes to 1. Congratulations. Somebody has to keep the peace, honey. Nick was right. I am the logical choice. Screw logic. What about me and the baby? Do you see no logic in us, Stu? Franny, you want him brought into a world where things are safe for him. I want that too. You and the baby are the 2 main reasons I said okay. Everything's gonna be fine. No, I don't really think it is. And that was that. And while washing the dishes, a queer certainly stole over Fran, numbing as some creeping anesthesia, that they would finish by wading in blood. That the same way a warmth can only come from a burning, love always comes due in blood. For the first time in weeks, Fran found herself thinking of her dream. The dark man with his grin and his twisted coat hanger. In addition to hunting for Mother Abigail, Harold was on the burial committee, under the guidance of Chad Norris, who had been an undertaker in his previous life. Harold had volunteered because who gets to be best liked in any community? Why, the man who does the dirtiest job, of course, and does it with a smile. They spent the day emptying the Church of the Latter-day Saints on Lower Table Mesa Drive. Over 70 dead, the stink was enormous. It's going to be like moving and burying cordwood, Chad had promised them. Nothing but cordwood. Once the church had been cleared, they drove the bodies to a burial site 10 miles southwest of Boulder, in an area that had once been strip mined for coal. Watching the bodies tumble out in a grotesque human rain, Harold felt an instant pity. A feeling so deep it was an ache. Cordwood. It's all that's left. Just cordwood. No football cheers. But you all did damn good. We put away close to 1,000 units today. If you feel like you can do it again, I'll see you tomorrow morning, here, at the bus station, at 8 a.m. I'll be there. And me too, after a 6-hour bath tonight. Count me in. Me too. It's a dirty job. You're all good men. Doubt if the rest of the zone will ever know just how good. Harold felt a sense of drawing together, a camaraderie, and he fought against it, suddenly afraid. See you tomorrow, Hawk, said Wazak, one of Harold's crewmates, startling him. What kind of a joke was that? Calling fat, pimply Harold Lauder a hawk? A cheap one. He felt the old black hate rise in him, before realizing Wazak hadn't meant it as a joke. The fact was, he wasn't fat anymore, and his pimples had cleared up weeks ago. Wazak didn't know he had once been a school joke, nor that his father had once asked Harold if he was a homosexual. A thought came to him suddenly. I could be an asset to this community. He pushed it away. Doesn't matter. I've got the brains to pick the lock on the door they slammed in my face, and I believe I found enough guts to open it once it's unlocked. And hey man, you okay? Me? I'm fine, Chad. I was just thinking. Well, you go right along and do that. From what I hear, every time you do that, you coin money for this joint. Could that be true? Did people really think of him as an idea man? New country, new Harold, except for Franny. See you tomorrow, Hawk. 8 a.m. I'll be there. He walked the rest of the way home, his mind gnawing at the problem he thought he had solved long ago. When he reached his house, there was a surprise waiting for him on his front step. Yes? I'm Nadine Cross, the woman who came in with Larry Underwood's party. His heart started beating faster. Harold Lauder. What can I do for you, Miss Cross? You can call me Nadine, for a start. And you could invite me inside for supper? He did, stumbling over his words. We're going to be very good friends, Harold. She cooked for him, then maneuvered him into the living room. The blinds were drawn. The room was private and dark. Something was happening between them, but Harold couldn't decipher what, as if in answer to his unasked question. I want what you want. I know what's in your heart. Harold's throat went dry with guilt. No one knows that. What's in your heart is in your ledger. I could read it. You moved it to the attic for safekeeping, but I don't need to. I know because he told me all about you. He wrote me a letter, you could say. He told me how the cowboy took your woman and kept you off the Freezone committee, and he wants us to be together, Harold. And he's very generous. We can do things, Harold. We can play. We can make ourselves drunk and wallow in it. We can do anything you want, except for one little thing. I'm a virgin, and I'm going to stay that way. It's for someone else to make me not a virgin anymore. Who? You know who. He stared at her, suddenly cold all over. I'll be your mother, your sister, or your whore, or your slave. You just have to tell me what you want, Harold, and I'll do it. But for a price. Isn't that right? Nothing is free. What's the price? What does he want? What we both want. What you almost did to Redmond when you were hunting for the old woman. But on a much larger scale. And when that's done, we can go to him, Harold, and stay with him. His lips felt cold, ashy. What if I say no? Life would go on, wouldn't it, Harold? I'll try to find some way of doing the thing I have to do. And you'll spend the rest of your life wondering what it would be like to hear me talking dirty to you, or to have me spill honey all over your body and lick it off. Stop it! I think you'll also wonder what it would have been like on his side of the world. That more than any and everything else, maybe. Decide, Harold. Do I button my shirt back up, or take everything off? How long did he think? He didn't know. In a way, the fact that she loved the dark man but would give so much of herself to him intensified his desire. Insanely, he wanted to hear this woman call him Hawk. The bedroom. Let's go in the bedroom. The words tasted like death in his mouth as Harold Lauder succumbed to his destiny.
Nicky! I'm glad to see you, laws, yes. Tom Cullen is glad. And Ralph, too? And M-O-O-N, that spells stew.
That's me, Tom. Nick wants to know if you'd mind being hypnotized again. It's important.
Sure, go ahead. You were getting very sleepy, right?
Tom, would you like to see an elephant? That was it. The key phrase.
Cripes, just like that. Just like putting a chicken's head under its wing.
Tom, this is Stu. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Different than Tom's usual voice, thought Stu. The voice of a man forever denied, infinitely sad. We'd like you to do something. Nick, for the Freezone. It's dangerous.
Is it to do with him?
Tom's voice sounded like a bitter November wind in a stand of denuded oaks. They all shuddered. Yes, Tom.
His name is Flagg. Randy Flagg. The Dark Man. I see his face in dreams. You want me to...
Tom let out a bitter sigh. I see his face in dreams, Stu thought, but none of us have ever seen him. It was off script, but he asked, What does he look like, Tom?
like anybody on the street. But when he grins, birds fall dead from telephone lines. Grass yellows up where he spits. He's out of time. Jesus knocked him into a herd of pigs once. His name is Legion. He knows magic. He is the king of nowhere. But he is afraid of us. He is afraid of inside.
Can you say anything else about him, Tom?
Only that I am afraid of him too. But I'll do what you want.
Tom, do you know if Mother Abigail, is she alive?
She's alive, but she is not right with God yet. She is in the wilderness and she will see, but she'll see too late. There will be death. She will die on the wrong side of the river.
Stop him! God in heaven, stop him! Tom, are you Tom? The same Tom Nick met in Oklahoma?
Yes, but I am also more than that, Tom. I am God's Tom.
Tom, we're sending you to the west, where the sun goes down, to look and see, and then come back and tell us. Can you do that?
Yes, unless they kill me.
Wincing, Stu pressed on. If anyone asks you why you're there, you say, they drove you out of the Freezone because you're feeble-minded.
Laws, yes. They drove feeble-minded Tom out of his nice house and put his feet on the road.
When you see the big round moon, you'll come back east, back to us, back to your house, Tom. You'll walk at night and sleep in the day, and you won't let anybody see you if you can help it. But someone might see you. If it's only one person, Tom, kill him.
Kill them.
If it's more than one, run.
Run. Thank God that's over.
Tom, would you like to see an elephant? And just like that, it was over and Tom was back.
I knew it wouldn't work. Laws, no. Tom doesn't get sleepy in the middle of the day.
Tom, can we ask you if you'd help us? I want you to go west and then come back and tell us what you saw.
Okay, sure. When?
Pretty soon now. Pretty soon. How could he have known those things about him? Nick wrote his answer down, and Ralph read it. Some people through history have considered the insane and retarded to be close to divine. He scared the hell out of me. Magic? How do we fight magic? It's all over my head. Those things he said about Mother Abigail, I don't even want to think about them. Stu wondered how you were supposed to figure things out if you weren't Mother Abigail and didn't have a hotline to heaven. His name is Legion. He is the king of nowhere. Nick was right. How could they possibly defeat Flag? When I was a boy, we lived near the finest boneyards in Illinois, Mount Hope. Whenever my father and I walked by it, he would ask, "What do you think, Teddy? Is there any hope?" And I would answer, "There's Mount Hope." He would roar with laughter. He died when I was a teenager, Larry. Judge, I know why you're here. You want to send me west, don't you? To spy out that land. If that's it, I accept.
Who told you? If someone on the committee is leaking, we're in a hell of a jam, Judge.
No one's been leaking, my boy. Your face is education in itself, and it's something I've been wondering about myself. We have no real idea what he's up to over there. He might be on the other side of the moon.
If he's really there.
Oh, he's there, in some form. Tell me, did your committee discuss what happens if we decide we like it better over there? If we decide to stay?
We haven't considered it.
I imagine he's got the lights on. There's an attraction in that, you know.
Well, good riddance to bad rubbish, I guess.
The judge roared with laughter at that, the way his father had over their shared Mount Hope joke ages ago.
You know, Judge, you can refuse this. No one is holding a gun to your head.
Are you trying to absolve your responsibility to me, Larry?
Maybe. I put your name forward, but maybe I made a mistake. Maybe you are too old.
I am too old for adventure, but I hope I'm not too old to do what I feel is right. I'll go. I'll be cold, my bowels won't work, and I'll be lonely. I'll miss my begonias, but I'll also be clever.
The judge's eyes gleamed in the dark, even as Larry felt the sting of tears in his own.
It's all right, Larry. You've not done anything wrong. And in the end, we can only be captains of our own souls.
Where you headed, Judge?
Denver for the day, Mr. Wazak.
Well, if you happen across any of those X-rated bookstores, why don't you bring back a trunk full?
A burst of laughter from everyone in the corpse crew, except for Harold Loudon. Good day to you, gentlemen. And to you, too, Mr. Wazak. And of course, the judge was not going to Denver. He took Route 36 to Route 7 to I-25, heading north and then west, towards the Rockies, rising serenely into the blue sky, and thought he might have been too old for the adventure. His heart hadn't beat so quickly in years. The air had not tasted this sweet, and colors had not seemed this bright. He wondered if he'd ever see Boulder again, and thought the chances were probably against it. Get the lead out, old man. And yet it was, without a doubt, one of the finest days of the judge's long life. Harold Lauder, on the other hand, was dog-tired. Since connecting with Nadine, he hadn't been sleeping much, or thinking much, at least not with his brain, but he was getting himself back on track. His mind turned to Fran Goldsmith, as it often did. He had gone over the place where she lived with Redmond on a pretext, and confirmed she was wearing sneakers that matched the print he had found in his cellar floor. From there, he could put it together without too much trouble. She had found out he had read her diary and had gone to his house looking for some indication of how he felt, something he had perhaps written down. His ledger said flat out he was planning to kill Stuart Redmond, so she hadn't found it. He felt positive about that. So, he had read her diary and she had broken into his house. Maybe they were even? Now that he had Nadine, he didn't really want Franny anymore. Did he? He felt resentment in his chest. Maybe he didn't want Franny anymore, but they had still excluded him. Though Nadine hadn't said so, he suspected they'd excluded her in some way too. They were a couple of outsiders, and outsiders hatch plots. Also, there was a whole company of outsiders on the other side of the mountains. And Harold knew, when there are enough outsiders in one place, a sort of mystical osmosis takes place, and you are suddenly inside, where it's warm. Being on the inside is just a little thing, thought Harold, but just about the most important thing in the world. Hey, Huck, we're taking a break. You pulling overtime or what? Yeah, I could use some more change in the bank. I'm clocking myself. I made an extra $60 already. You're a card, Hawk, you know that? A wild card. Something had happened last night while she was with Harold. She'd seen something. A face in the window. His face, warning her. The bride defiled would be the bride unaccepted. The husband-to-be watching over his intended. So long as I didn't do that one little thing, everything else, dressed up for him like a cheap street-walking slut, that's perfectly okay. It was enough to make Nadine wonder what sort of man her fiancé truly was. After breakfast, Nadine went back to her house to gather the last of her things. She had been in the living room for a good 5 minutes before she noticed him, sitting in the corner. She'd wonder how long he'd been there, Joe. Leo. What are you doing here? Why aren't you with Larry and Lucy, Mom? You scared the dickens out of me. His eyes, she thought. His eyes have gone back. Eyes that filled you with a creeping terror. You can't stay here. I just came to get a few things. I'm moving in with a man. That part of our lives is gone. You've changed. I've changed. We can't go back. We can't change back. She was terrified. She couldn't believe she'd once slept fearlessly next to this little savage. Stop staring at me. You wanted Larry and Lucy. You have them. None of this is my fault. So you can just stop trying to guilt trip me. I could have understood going with Larry and Lucy, but it was really that stupid old bag you gave me up for, wasn't it? And now she's gone, so you want me again. But it won't play, do you hear me? It won't play. Go to Larry. Goodbye, kiddo. Nadine fled from her house, stumbling, shaking. She had wondered if she had just had some kind of mad hallucination. No more real than the phantoms of Poe. Beating of an old man's heart sounded like a watch wrapped in cotton. Or the raven perched on the bust of Pallas, tapping, ever tapping at my chamber door. She drove recklessly, back towards Harold, slaloming in and out of stalled cars. By the time she had reached Harold's, she had gotten herself under some control. But she knew it had to end for her quickly here in the zone. If she wanted to keep her sanity, she must soon be away. On his way to the power station, Stu bumped into Susan Stern and Dana Jurgens on Canyon Boulevard. I understand you're off on a little trip, Dana. Stuart thought Dana had never looked prettier. For sure. And you never saw me. Nope, never did. You be careful, girl, and get back to us. Sue looked at them in the bright, late summer morning. Dana, this is a reconnaissance mission. Why are you taking that knife? If he's a big enough dictator, then maybe he's all that's holding them together. If he's dead, that might be the end of them. If I can get close to him, Susie, they'll kill you, Dana, before you get away. Maybe, maybe not. It would be worth it just to have the pleasure of watching his guts fall on the floor. You take care of Franny, big fella, and go easy on the marshland. That I know I can do. Well, what do you say, Sus? Shall we? Dana, good luck. Franny's a lucky woman, and you can quote me. All right, Susie Q, let's go. Smiling, Stu said nothing as they rode off. 2 days later, Susan Stern was back in Boulder. She had gone with Dana as far as Colorado Springs. Then she had watched her friend ride off until she was nothing but a speck merging with the great, still landscape. Then she had cried a little. Heading back to Boulder, Susan camped that first night in Monument. She was awakened in the small hours by a low whining sound. She followed it till the end of a rusty culvert. The gaunt, shivering puppy looked about 6 months old. Back in Boulder, Dick Ellis went into raptures over the puppy. It was an Irish setter bitch, possibly purebred. When she got older, Dick was sure Kojak would be pleased to make her acquaintance. As news of the puppy swept the Freezone, Susan Stern became something of a heroine for making everyone forget, at least for a moment, Mother Abigail's disappearance. Instead, they focused on the prospect of a canine Adam and Eve. In that moment, as Franny took his hand in a gesture of almost desperate optimism, Stu hoped no one in the zone would wonder what Sue had been doing in Monument, so far south of Boulder, anyway. Looking back on those days, it was the morning Susan and Dana left for Boulder that Stu remembered, watching them ride off towards Denver-Boulder Turnpike, because no one in the zone ever saw Dana Jurgens ever again. Tom. Hey, Tommy. It's time to go, Tom.
Go? Laws, no. When it gets dark, Tom goes to bed. Him I won't win. That smells bad. Tom doesn't like to be out after dark because of the boogies. Tom, go west, do you mean? It's that time?
Yes, Tom, if you can.
Travel at night, sleep in the day, and see the elephant. Do I really have to do this, Nick?
Nick nodded slowly. Ralph made a choked muttering sound, and Larry said, thickly,
You'll want to be careful, Tom. Careful? Laws, yes. Tom loves his house. Laws, yes. Who am I riding with?
Ralph took Tom down to Route 70. Nick shuffled off to be by himself as Larry and Stu watched Ralph's motorcycle dwindle to a moving headlight in purple dust. You think we'll ever see him again, Larry?
If we don't, 7 of us, well, maybe not Fran, are gonna be eating and sleeping with the decision of sending him off for the rest of our lives. Nick, more than anyone else.